वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् रक्तशुक्लप्रभामिश्रम् अतर्क्यं त्रैपुरम् अहः विशुद्धिज्ञानदेहाय त्रिवेदी दिव्यचक्षुषे श्रेयः प्राप्तिनिमित्ताय नमः सोमार्धधारिणे नमो यामिनीनाथरेखालङ्कृत कुन्तलाम् भवानीं भवसन्तापनिर्वापण सुधानदीम्
We start with the Saptama Avarana. Ashtare Vashinyadi Namasthane Pooja mantra sannama Etaha Rahasya Yogini Sarva roga hara Chakre Shishtam Spashtam Murti Vidyam Uchcharya Tripura Siddham Aradhya Shiva Bhrugu Riddhi Yuk Brain Iti Khechari Deya. Ashtare, the Saptamavarna is the Ashtara, the eight triangled Avarana. The Devatas who are present there are the Vashinyadi vak Devāṭas. If we recall, we have already come across these Vashinyadi vak Devāṭas at the time of Bhagavan enlisting the Nyasas. So before the start of the Saparya, we are supposed to perform certain Nyasas which are mandatory. Though there are many Nyasas, certain Nyasas are mandatory. For example, the Chaturasana Nyasa, then the Bala Nyasa, then the Vashinyadi Vagdevatashta Nyasa. Yeah, obviously the Matrika things there. So at the time of enlisting these Nyasas, the Bija mantras of the Ashtavak Devatas have already been enumerated there. So instead of repeating the entire set, see, we are following this pranali of Sutra pranali. In Sutra, if something has already been stated before, generally when in the subsequent sutras, reference will be made to the previous occurrence, so that we will have to understand, or we will have to bring in those concept or names or whatever and understand the Uttara Sutra. So this is the paddhati to ensure the brevity, because sutras are short aphorisms, okay, which is easy to memorize. So in order to bring in that brevity of expression, this system is followed. So we say Sutreshu Anuktam Padam Sutrantarat Anuvartani. If certain words are not mentioned in the Uttara Sutras, the sutras that are following, and they have already been mentioned earlier, then Sutrantarat Anuvartaniyam. Then one has to bring those names or concepts from there and understand the current sutra. So here Bhagavan has already mentioned it earlier at the during the Nyasas. So he says Vashinyadi Ashtakam. But while doing the Nyasa, what he has done is Irbloom Vashini Vagdevatayai Namaha. This is how the Uddhara was done there. So here Bhagavan says Namahasthane Pooja mantra sannama. In place of Namaha, you will have to use Puja sannama, means Pujayami Tarpayami. So while doing the Archana or Pujana and Archana, we will have to remove that Namaha, and in place of Namaha, we will have to say Pujayami Tarpayami. Now, an academic interest is, okay, Bhagavan had stated there, Bloom Vashini Vak-Devatayai Namaha. Vashini Vak-Devatayai is in the Chaturthi Vibhakti. Whereas here he has only said, replace Namaha with that Pujayami Tarpayami. What do we do with that Vashini Vak-Devatayai? Should it be in Vashini Vak-Devatayai form or should it change? This is in the Shastra Pranali. If someone says in replace Namaha, then automatically Namaha governs the noun in the Chaturthi Vibhakti. If Namaha goes, obviously the Chaturthi Vibhakti in the previous pada will automatically go and an appropriate Vibhakti has to be used. Since it is Pujayami Tarpayami, Tritiyanta, we will have to make all the namas with Tritiyanta. So Vashini Vak-Devatam Pujayami Tarpayami. Okay, so that is the explanation for Namahasthane Puja Mantrasan Nama. Then Etaha Rahasya Yogini. So he is not listing. So Vashini, Kameshwari, everything we will have to know from that. It is the same order. So we will have to follow the same order. Etaha Rahasya Yoginyaha Sarva Roga Hara Chakre. So while doing the Samashti Vandana, the collective names for these Ashtavak Devatas are Rahasya Yogini. So Etaha Rahasya Yoginyaha. Why Rahasya? We are now getting closer to the Bindou. Okay, so it is our understanding spiritually, the concepts are becoming more and more subtle. Therefore, it is Rahasya. So these Devatas are Rahasya, number one. Number two, they are Ashtavak Devatas. Okay, now Vak is at 4 levels: Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, and the Vaikhari. Vaikhari Vak, okay, we all know whatever is the articulated audible sound is the Vaikhari Vak. Paravak is something which is Vasanatmaka, which is the Chit Swarupa. So when it comes to the Ashtavak Devatas, what are they representing? They cannot represent Vaikhari, they cannot represent the Paravak. So they have to either represent the Madhyama or the Pashyanti stage of the Vak. Okay. Now, the difference between the Madhyama and the Pashyanti is, in the Madhyama Vak, already the thoughts have been associated with the words. See, generally when we want to speak or communicate an idea to another person, according to the Shastra, this is the Paddhati. All forms of cognitions are an expression of our own innate nature of being Chaitanya or Chit Swarupa. So all cognitions are generated because of our own Swarupa being Chit Swarupa. Okay. Then there is the manifestation of Idam from that Ahanta, which is our Swarupa. Ahanta is our Swarupa. So that Idam manifests. How does this Idam manifest? If the Idam manifests itself as an Avyakrita, okay, not distinct from Aham. So it is Aham Idam, Idam Aham. In the Tattva scheme, it is the Sadashiva Tattva Swarupa. There, the Idanta is also there, the Ahanta is also there, but there is an essential non-difference between the Ahanta and the Idanta Swarupa. This stage of the Sadashiva Tattva, okay, is where there is distinction, but at the same time, that distinction is Avyakrita, not completely manifest. In the Ishvara Tattva Swarupa, it will become Idam Aham. Okay, so the words associated with a particular thought or the object will get formed. That is the Madhyama. Okay. So when we speak about the Rahasya Yogini stand for the the Sadashiva Tattva level. That is why they are Rahasya Yoginya. Where there is a clear cut, okay, there is no clear cut distinction between the Ahanta and Idanta. That is between the Vak, which is Paravak, and the Artha, which is Idam Tattva. Okay, so they are, that is why the Devatas are collectively called as Rahasya Yoginya. So, Etaha Rahasya Yoginya. Sarva Roga Hara Chakre. The name of the chakra is Sarva Roga Hara Chakra. What is this Roga? It has already been explained elsewhere. This Roga is the sense of duality is the Roga that is being spoken about here. So, Sarva Roga Hara. By mastering this Saptamavarna, we are ensuring that the cause or the seed of this duality, okay, is removed. Okay, the Anubhava is in the 9th. Okay, so removal of the cause is in the 7th. Since the cause is being removed, of duality is being removed here, and the sense of duality is the greatest roga, that is which every jiva or anu suffers. This chakra is called as Sarva Roga Hara Chakra. So, Etaha Rahasya Yoginyaha Sarva Roga Hara Chakre. Shishtam Spashtam. Bhagavan says, rest, whatever has already been said in the first and second avarana, you will have to simply use it that way. Murti Vidyam Uchcharya. Murti Vidya also has been stated at the time of the Avahana of the Devata, where Bhagavan said, Maya Lakshmi Para. Maya Lakshmi Para. So Maya is Hrim, Lakshmi is Shrim, Para is Sauhu. So Murti Vidya is Hrim Shrim Sauhu. So that is the Chakreshwari Bija. So Murti Vidyam Uchcharya. Tripura Siddham Aradhya. So we perform the Pujana and Tarpana for the Chakreshwari of the Saptamavarna, who is Tripura Siddha. So Tripura Siddham Aradhya. Now comes the Bija for the Mudra. The Mudra is Khechari Mudra. Okay, for the Saptamavarna it is Khechari. Shiva Bhrugu Ruddhi Yuk Prem. Shiva Hakaraha. So Shiva is H. Okay. Bhrugu Sakaraha. So S. Ruddhi is Kha. So H, S, K. Then Prem. So the Bija is Prem. So Shiva Bhrugu Ruddhi Yuk Prem. So Prem is the Bija. Iti Khechari Deya. We have already seen about the Khechari while we were doing the Prathamavarna. How important the Khechari Mudra is. So Iti Khechari Deya. So this concludes the Saptamavarna. The Devatas are Vashinyadi Ashtavak Devatas. Collectively they are called as Rahasya Yoginis. The Chakreshwari is Tripura Siddha. The Mudra is Khechari Mudra. The Bija is Prem. Okay. Then, before moving on to the Ashtamavarna, which is the Trikona, the space in between the Saptamavarna, that is the Ashtara, and the Ashtamavarna, which is the Trikona, there are the Āyudh Devāṭas who are stationed. So the Pujana for the Āyudh Devāṭas have to be performed. Bāna Bijani Uchcharya. Sarva Jrimbhanebhyo Bānebhyo Namaha. Tham Dham Sarva Sammohanaya Dhanushe Am Hrim Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya Krom Sarva Stambhanaya Ankushaya Namaha Iti Mahatrasra Bahya Chaturdikshu Banadi Āyudha Pooja. It's a very interesting discussion when it comes to the Banas, and that is the Āyudhas. First, we will understand what the sutra says. Bana Bijani Uchcharya. So Bhagavan is not giving the list of what are the Bana Bijas. He is simply saying Bana Bijani Uchcharya. Okay? Having pronounced the Bana Bijas. Sarva Jrumbhanebhyaha Banebhyaha Namaha. We do the Sarva Jrumbhanebhyaha Banebhyaha. Bana, the Panchabanas. Okay, there are 5 arrows. So Sarva Jrumbhanebhyaha Banebhyaha. Therefore, the Bahuvachana is understood. Why Bahuvachana is used. Then Tham Dham. So these are the Bijaksharas for the Dhanu. So Tham Dham. Dham Tham Sarva Sammohanaya Dhanushe. The Dhanu is Sarva Sammohana Dhanu. I will come to that. Okay, those the explanations for those words. Am Hrim Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya. The Pasha Bijas are Am and Hrim. Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya. Krom Sarva Stambhanaya Ankushaya. See, Ankusha Bija is Krom. So Krom Sarva Stambhanaya Ankushaya. Namaha iti. Mahatrasra Bahya. Outside the Mahatrasra. Mahatrasra is the innermost triangle. Why is it called as Mahatrasra and not merely Trasra? Because in all the other places, he did not use the Mahat Shabda. He only say Ashtare, Bahirdashare, Antardashare, Chaturdashare. He never said Mahabahirdashare, Mahachaturdashare or anything like that. Whereas here alone he says Mahatrasra. The reason is very simple. Inside the Trasra, the Devata, there are 4 Devatas, which we will see in the subsequent sutra. The 4th Devata is Mahadevi herself. Since the Trasra is the place where Mahadevi or Mahatripura Sundari resides, that Trasra has to be given in form of an address which is different from the others. Therefore, it is Mahatrasra. Mahatrasra Bahya. So, outside the triangle. So, it is a space in between the Ashtara and the Mahatrasra. Chaturdikshu. In the 4 directions. Which 4 directions? Bhagavan is not making it clear. Okay, you can take any 4 directions. So the tantras have given us the hint. That is, in the east, starting east in a clockwise direction, we have the Bana, the Dhanu, the Pasha, and the Ankusha. So east Bana. Okay, then to the south we have the Dhanu. To the west we have the Ankusha. To the north we have the Pasha. Pasha, and into the north we have the Ankusha. While addressing the Bana, Sarvajambranebhyaha Banebhyaha Namaha. Bhagavan uses Bahuvachana. Okay, Bijas are not enlisted. Fine. Sarva Sammohanaya Dhanushe Namaha. For Dhanush Shabda, he has used the Chaturthi Ekavachananta. Dhanushe is Ekavachana. Whereas he has used 2 Bijas, Dham and Tham. So he is using 2 Bijas, but it is ending in Ekavachana. Okay. Same thing when it comes to Am Hrim Sarva Vashikaranaya Ekavachananta. Pashaya, whereas he has used 2 bijas there. But in the end, Chrome, only 1 bija he uses, Sarvastambhanaya Ankushaya. And he uses Ekavachananta in the Ankusha. So now, the discussion that the commentators and other acharyas come is, which Ayudhas are we worshipping? See, there are Kameshwara Ayudhas and Kameshwari Ayudhas. So are we worshipping Kameshwari Ayudhas alone? Are we worshipping Kameshwara Ayudhas alone? Or are we worshipping both? With this question in the background, now if you approach the problem in the sutra, you will understand. In one place, Bhagavan has given 2 bijas, but he has given the Ekavachananta. Whereas the same thing in the Ankusha, he has given only 1 bija and Ekavachananta. So we are having some doubt. So there is a certain level of ambiguity in this particular sutra. What is it that Bhagavan is intending in this particular sutra? Does he mean both? Does he mean one? Okay. Or if it is one, which one? Now, to give you the perspective, in the Nityotsava, which is the manual written by Umananda, in the Āyudha Pujas, we will have, the reading is this: Dram Dream Kleem Bloom Saha Kameshwari Banebhyaha Namaha Bana Shakti Shri Padakam Pujayami Tarpayami Namaha. The Bana Bijas were not listed by Bhagavan. He only said Bana Bijani Uchcharya. Okay. In the Nityotsava Paddhati, we have the 5 Bana Bijas. Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha. Okay. But the problem is, Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha are not Kameshwari Bana Bijas. Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha are Kameshwara Bana Bijas. Yam, Ram, Lam, Vam, Sam are the Kameshwari Bana Bijas. Okay. So, if we have to make it as a set, okay, to understand, the Kameshwara Bana Bijas are Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha. Kameshwara Dhanur Bija is Dham. Kameshwara Pasha Bija is Am. Kameshwara Ankusha Bija is Chrome. Fine. Kameshwari Bana Bijas are Yam, Ram, Lam, Vam, Sam. Kameshwari Dhanur Bija is Tham. Kameshwari Pasha Bija is Green. Kameshwari Ankusha Bija is Chrome. So, by listing Kameshwara Bana Bija in Nityotsava, Umananda makes a mistake of writing only Kameshwari's name in the Puja Vidhana. He says, Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha, Kameshwari, Shri Padakam, Pujayam. Kameshwari, Bana, Shri Padakam, Pujayami, Tarpayam. Or Bana Shakti, Shri Padakam, Pujayami, Tarpayam. So, how do we resolve this problem? That is why these sutras and others have to be learned in the Shastra Parampara. Only when we learn it in the Parampara, we will know, okay, how to resolve these kind of issues. Okay. The fact is that when we take this, okay, where do we find the Uddhara for these Bana Bijas? We find it in Mula Tantras, like in Malini Tantra, we will find the Uddhara for the Kameshwara Bija. Very clearly, no, he will mention, okay, the Bija. There is, when he gives the Uddhara, for example, in the Malini Tantra, he says, Hanta Dvayam Samalikya Vanhi Samstham Kramenatu Mukhavrittena Netrena Binduna Paribhushitam Banadvayam Idam Proktam Madanam Bhumi Samsthitam Chaturthaswara Bindvadyam Nadarupam Varanane Hantam Chakrena Samyuktam Vamakarna Vibhushitam Bindunada Samayuktam Sargavan Chandramaha Priye Panchabanan Iman Vidhi Mamakan. Okay, Bhairava is saying Mamakan Panchabanan Iman Vidhi. Know these to be the 5 bijas of my bana. Now you do the uddhara here. Thanta dvayam, which is the letter that comes after tha. Ta, tha, da. So thanta means da. Okay, thanta. Vanhi samstham, which is the Agni bija, ra. So, okay, so da, ra. Mukha vrittena. In the Matrika Nyasa, which is the bija for the Mukha Vritta? Am. So d, r, a, dra. Binduna paribhushitam. Add the Anuswara. D, r, a, im. Dram. Okay. Then he used the same thing. Thanta dvayam he has said. So 2 times you have to do. Okay. So d, r. Then he says netrena. Okay. So the left eye. So e, d, r, e. Then binduna paribhushitam. D, r, e, im, dream. So dram, dream. Okay. Then madanam, bhumi samsitam. Madanam is k, bhumi is l, k, l. Chaturtha swara. The 4th swara is e, k, l, e. Bindu adhyam. Bindu. So clean. So dram, dream, clean. Okay. Then phantam, the letter that comes after pha. So b. So b. Chakrena samyuktam. Chakra is la. So b, l. Vamakarna vibhushitam. The letter for the Vamakarna, the left ear. U. So b, l, u. Bindunada samayuktam. Bindu. Bloom. Sargavan Chandramaha. Chandrama is sa. Sargavan with Visarga. Saha. So Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha. Priye. So we know who is speaking to whom. Okay. So Bhairava is addressing Bhairavi as Priye. That is the Sambodhana of Strilinga. Okay. So Priye. Panchabanan Iman Vidhi Mamakan. These are my Panchabanas. So Dram, Dream, Kleem, Bloom, Saha are Kameshwara Panchabanas, Bijas. In the same Yogini Tantra, we find the Uddhara for the Kameshwari Panchabanas also. When we say Tvag Asring Mada Medho Asti Majjantarnaha Sureshwari Ditiya Swara Samyuktaha Yete Banaha Swadiyakaha. Okay. So Tvag Asring Mamsa Medha Asti. For the letters for these are ya, okay, ra, la, va, sa. Dvitiya swara samyuktaha. The second swara is a. So a, yam, ya, ra, la, va, sa. Okay, with the bindu. So yam, ram, lam, vam, sam. Tvadiyaha banakaha. They are your banas. So we know that yam, ram, lam, vam, sam are Kameshwari Bana Bijas. Okay. Similarly, we'll find the Uddharas for the Dhanu, okay, for the Pasha, as well as for the Ankusha. Okay. Then, so it is given in Ekavachanam, whereas it should have been given in Dvivachana. It should have been Sarva Sammohanabhyam Dhanurbhyam. Okay. Sarva Vashikaranabhyam Pashabhyam. Sarva Stambhanabhyam Ankushabhyam. Whereas Bhagavan did not use that Dvivachana, he only used Ekavachana. So what do we do? How do we understand? So to resolve this particular issue, we resort to the Mimamsa Nyaya. There is something called Pashadhikarana Nyaya. Medha Pataye Medham Mantram. Whereas it is Dvidevata. There are 2 devatas there. So the Vyakhyana given, I remember, by Shri Guru, he explained it like this. Medha Patibhyam iti Dvidevata Vataha api Ekavachanena Uktatvat api Dvidevata Grahyam. Even though the mantra says Medha Pataye, for that is, it has used Ekavachananta in place of Dvivachana, because Dvivachana should come because there are 2 devatas. we will have to understand it as Dvivachana only and not go by the Ekavachana. The same logic is applied here. Even though Bhagavan has used only Ekavachana when he says Sarva Sammohanaya Dhanushe, the clue for this being Dvidevata is found in the Bijas he has listed. He has given the Bija of both Kameshwari as well as the Kameshwar. When he says Dham Tham or Am Hrim. When it comes to the Bana, he has not at all listed. So we will have to understand the Bana Bijas from other sources. Okay, so we will have to understand the Dram Dream Clean Bloom Saha Yam Ram Lam Vam Sam from the other sources. Now, Chrome is listed only once. Okay, even though it is the same bija for the Kameshwara Bana as well as for the Kameshwari Bana. That is the reason why Bhagavan did not repeat it 2 times. So, even though he has said only Chrome, we will have to understand it as Chrome, Sarva Stambanabhyam, Ankushabhyam. How do we position it at the while doing the puja? The positioning of the names is Kameshwari, Kameshwarabhyam. Because by the rules of the samasa, if there is a pullinga and a strilinga word, the samasa will end with the pullinga. So the strilinga word will come before. So it is always Sita Ramau, Parvati Parameshwarau. Okay. It is never the other way around. It is never Rama Site. It is always Sita Ramau. Nastriyam. There is a sutra. So by that logic, when we are doing the Dvandva Samasa, it is Kameshwari, Kameshwara. Okay, so Kameshwari, Kameshwara, Bana. So the order also has to be in the same. So we will have to use the same order, okay, of the Samastha Pada. So first should come the Kameshwari Bana Bijas, followed by the Kameshwara Bana Bijas, then by the Pada Sarva Jrimbhanebhyaha Banebhyaha Namaha. So it will be Yam Ram Lam Vam Sam Dram Dream Kleem Bloom Saha Sarva Jrimbhanebhyaha Kameshwari Kameshwara Banebhyo Namaha. Is the mantra swarupa. Okay, clear, no? Now what is the meaning of these? Each of these Ayudhas perform certain functions. The Banas are the Panchabana using the 5 flowers. They are Sarva Jrimbhana. Jrimbhana means expansion. The Panchabanas are nothing but the Pancha Tanmatras. So the expansion of the Bahir Prakriti or the external world is through the sense organs. Therefore, the Banas are the root, or the senses are the roots for reaching out to the external world. So they are Sarva Jrimbhanebhya. Then Dhanushe. What is this Dhanu? This Dhanu is Ikshitapa. Okay. So it is Sarva Sammohana. The function of the Dhanu is Sammohana, is to delude, is to confuse. Why do we go out? Because of confusion, we go out. When we look into the Upanishadic statement, Paranchi Khani Vyatranat Swayambhu. That is, at the time of creation, the Prajapati, when he created the Indriyas, he created the Indriyas as Bahirmukha, facing the external world, so that we are led outside. Okay, so Paranchi Khani Vyatranat Swayambhu. So for this orientation towards the external world, you need to have the confusion. See, just like the Bana has to be first mounted on the bow to be shot. So the confusion starts, or it sets the pace for looking to the external world, okay, or moving towards the external world. So this is the Dhanu and Bana's function. Then the Pasha is Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya. Sarva Vashikaranam. Vashikaranam means controlling. Okay, so Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya. It controls everything, including being, the elements, and all those things. So Sarva Vashikaranaya Pashaya. Then Sarva Stambhanaya Ankushaya. The Ankusha is Stambhanam, it stuns. Okay, so in the sense that we are left with, or we are left in a state of utter confusion as to what is right and what is wrong. So we are in the Dharma Sandeha. So that state is caused by the Ankusha. Now we have to remember, if the Āyudhas can do this, the reversal of the effect is also by the Āyudhas. Visham Vishena Shamyati. Okay, if you have to counter poison by the poison. Similarly, if you have to escape the effects of the Āyudhas, we will have to surrender to the Āyudhas. So when we surrender to the Chaturayudhas, we are ensured that our senses are not led outside, our mind is not deluded, we are not in the sense of false ego to control others, and we are not in a state of confusion of what is dharma and what is adharma. So the withdrawal of these effects is also by these Āyudhas. That is why, see, we should remember, when it is Srishti Unmukha, when Srishti has to take place from the Bindou, okay, Āyudhas are positioned, okay, so that it becomes focused or directed towards the world. When we are in the Samhara Krama, when these effects are withdrawn, we become introvert. So and our puja is Samhara Krama only. So by the worship of the Āyudh Devāṭas, we are ensured that we are free from the effects of these 4 Āyudhas. So the Sarva Jrimbanebhyaha, Bhanebhyaha, Sarva Sammohanabhyam, Dhanurbhyam, Sarva Vashikaranabhyam, Pashabhyam, Sarva Stambhanabhyam, Ankushabhyam. That is how we have to read the sutra. Then the Ashtamavarna. Trikone. So he has already stated Mahatrasra in the innermost triangle. Vak-kama-shakti. Samastha. Poorvaha. kameswari-vajreshwari-bhagamalini. Mahadevyaha. Bindou Chaturthi. Okay. Trikone. In the Trikona, the vak-kama-shakti samastha. So the Mula Mantra Trikhandas. Okay, the first khanda, okay, Vagbhava Kuta, then the Kamaraja Kuta, then the Shakti Kuta, and the Samastha, the entire mantra. Okay, so for the first Devata, that is Kameshwari, it is the Vagbhava Kuta. So we say Kayai Lakrim, Kameshwari, Shri Padakam, Pujayami, Tarpayami. Okay, for the Mahavajreshwari, it will be the Kamaraja Kuta. For the Mahabhagamalini, it will be the Shakti Kuta. And in the end, Mahadevyaha. Who is this Mahadevyaha? Since we have to read it as a Samastha Pada. Okay. Kameshwari, Vajreshwari, Bhagamalini, Mahadevi Cha. This is the Itaretara Dvandva Samasa. Okay. Therefore, it is, the entire thing is Bahuvachana. Okay. First Devata is Kameshwari, second Devata is Vajreshwari, third Devata is Bhagamalini, fourth Devata's name here in the Sutra is Mahadevi. All the 4 put together, Mahadevyaha. So by in the Sutra, Bhagavan is referring to Lalita Mahatripura by a specific name called Mahadevi. That is why in the Bhashya, Rameshwara Suri criticizes Umanandanatha for using Lalita Mahatripura Sri Padakam Pujayam Tarpayam. He says you should not have used that name Lalita Mahatripura there, because very openly and clearly in the Sutra, the name to be used is given as Mahadevi. And just like in the Veda, we cannot replace one shabda with its paryaya pada. Okay, say for example, Suryaya Jishtam Nirvapami. That is the mantra. So instead of Suryaya, we cannot say Divakaraya Jishtam Nirvapami and argue that Surya Divakara both are synonyms. So no, it doesn't happen that way. You will have to use only the same word that has been given there. Similarly, Rameshwari Suri says it should have been only Mahadevi, whereas in the Nibandha as well as in our Paddhati we use the term Lalita Mahatrivasundari Shripali. Okay, we are using it by the virtue of our Paddhati, by virtue of our Sampradaya, but we should also know what is there in the Sutra. Sutra gives the name only as Mahadevi. So Mahadevyaha. Bindou Chaturthi. Now, in the triangle, where are they positioned? Kameshwari is in the Agrabhaga. Okay, in the Daksha Bhaga, Vajreshwari. In the Vama Bhaga, it is Mahavagamali. In the middle, Bindou is the Chaturthi. Chaturthi is the fourth Devata or Mahadevi or Lalita Mahatrivasundari. Okay, who is the Samashti of these three Devatas. So Bindou Chaturthi. Tisrunam Asam Antaram Abhedhaya Mooladevyaha Pooja Kameshwaryadi Chaturthi Nityanam Shodashi Chakradevinam Navami Bindu Chakrastha cha ityeka eva na tatra mantra devata bhedaha karyaha tan mahadevyaha eva Chaturshu sthaleshu vishesharchanam avartate. Very, very important sutra when it comes to the prayoga. Tristrunam asam anantaram abhedaya mooladevyaha puja. After worship of Kameswari-Bhagamalini, Kameswari-Vajreshwari and Bhagamalini, Mooladevyaha Puja. This Moola-devi is the samashti of these three devatas. When we see the mantra, it becomes very clear. For the Kameshwari, it is the Prathama Kuta. For Vajreshwari, it is the Kamaraja Kuta. For the Bhagamalini, it is the Shakti Kuta. All these three kutas put together is the Panchadashakshari Mahavidya, which is the mantra for the Mahadev. So there is an Abheda Bhava between the Mahadevi and these three devatas, but at the same time we should know that they are vyashti and she is the samashti. Okay, Kameshwaryadi. Okay, now we have almost completed. The next avarana is the 9th. Now Bhagavan wants to draw our attention to certain facts. He says, remember, Kameshwaryadi Chaturthi Nityanam. Kameshwaryadi Chaturthi. In the 8th Avarana, Kameshwari, Vajreshwari, Bhagamalini. 4th one is Mahadevi. Okay, Lalita Mahatrivasundari. So Kameshwaryadi Chaturthi. The 4th in the list of Kameshwari, Vajreshwari, Bhagamalini. So there, Nityanam Shodashi. While listing the Nitya Devatas, the 16th Nitya Devata. Okay, the 16th Nitya Devata. Once again, that is Lalita Mahatrivasundari. So Nityanam Shodashi, Chakra Devinam Navami. In the Chakra Avaranas, the 9th, that is the Bindou. So Chakra Devinam Navami, the 9th Chakreshwari, Bindu Chakrasthacha. So the Chakreshwari of the 9th Avarana and the Devata of the 9th Avarana. Okay. Eka Eva. So all these 4 are one and the same. Lalita Mahatrivasundari herself. One should not understand them to be 4 different devatas. Okay, which are that? Kameshwaryadi Chaturthi, Nityanam Shodashi. Okay, then Chakradevinam Navami, Bindu Chakrastha. All these 4 are one and the same. cha iti eka eva. Na tatra mantra devata bhedaha karyaha. One should not bring any kind of difference with respect to the mantra or with respect to the devata. That is, one should not think that they are different devatas. You should use the same mantra which you are using for pujana, okay, in right from the beginning, in all the four cases. You cannot use Shodashi in one place, you cannot use Panchadashi in one place, and all this. So you will have to use the same mantra bhaga for all the four places. So na tatra mantra devata bhedaha karyaha. Tat Mahadevyaha eva. These four are all these four places, the mantra is that which belongs to Mahadevi herself. So once again, Bhagavan has used the term as Mahadevi. That is why in the Bhashya, Rameshwari Suri says, Kantaravena Uktatva. He has not given any hints or all those things. He has openly stated the name. Still, I do not understand why Umanandanatha has used the term Lalita Mahatripura Sundari in the Nityotsava. Anyway, then Mahadevyaha eva. Chaturshu sthaleshu, in all the four places, Vishesharchanam avartate. We have to do the Vishesharchana. When we come to the 16th Nitya, that is why if you remember, all the other 15 Nitya Devatas, we will do the Pujanam Tarpanam once. When we go to the 16th Nitya Devata, we will do it 3 times. So Vishesharchana means doing it 3 times. Okay. Similarly, we should do the Ashtama when we are doing the Archana in the Ashtamavarna, the 4th Devata. So kameswari-Yadi Chaturthi, that is when we are doing Tarpana, we should do it 3 times. In the older books, it is not given as 3 times. Okay, but we will have to do it 3 times. So kameswari-Yadi Chaturthi, there we have to do it 3 times. And the Navama Chakreshwari and the Navama Chakra Devata, obviously 3 times. So this is called as Vishesharchanam. This is very important, not only in the Paddhati and all those things, especially when we are doing this Pratyaksha Pujas. People who do not understand that all the 4 are one and the same, they will have one separate person for the 9th Avarana. Okay, a separate person for the Nitya Chaturthi. Okay, or a separate person for the Navama Chakresh. So one will have to be very, very careful and understand the spirit of the Sutra. Okay. Etaha Atirahasya Yoginah Sarva Siddhi Prade Chakre Parisishtam Drashtavyam. So it says the Samashti name of these Devata is Atirahasya Yoginah. Etaha Atirahasya Yoginah. Name of the chakra is Sarva Siddhi Prada Chakra. That which bestows all the siddhis, all the accomplishments. Avahanim Uchcharya. What is Avahanim? We've already seen. Hasrayam Sklimasroho is the Avahanim. Okay, so Avahinim Uchcharya. Tripurambam Sambhavya. So the name of the Chakreshwari is Tripuramba. Tripurambam Sambhavya. The Bija is, sorry, the Mudra is Bija Mudra. Okay. The Mantra Bija is Zom. Som iti Bija Mudra Kritihi. One should show the Bija Mudra using the Bija Akshara Zom. Okay. So this concludes the Ashtamavarna.